G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and this is Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 2. So I put up a poll, no one responded, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to continue on with this because I still haven't played this version yet. So I'm thinking what I'll be doing is location to location or location to event, because there's no real bosses in Soul Reaver 2, so to speak. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I have turned the volume up a little bit on my OBS because I did try starting this and it did sound a bit soft. So hopefully this doesn't throw too much out. So here we go.
At last. I must say I'm disappointed in your progress. I imagined you'd be here sooner. Tell me, did it trouble you to murder your brothers?
Did it trouble you when you ordered me into the abyss?
Eternity is relentless, Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I could never contain such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? As such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. Our futures are predestined. Mobius foretold mine eons ago. We each play out the parts fate has written for us. Free will is an illusion.
I found the tomb of Sarafan, Kain. How could you profane a priest by turning him into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer. Who better to serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
The Sarafan were saviors, defending Nazgul from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are opened, Kain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my unwilling corpse.
You may have uncovered your past, but you know nothing of it. You think the Sarafan were noble, altruistic? Oh, don't be simple. Their agenda was the same as ours. You nearly had me, Raziel. But this is not where or how it ends. Fate promises more twists before this drama unfolds completely.
Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah. Welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny. Where am I? Is the usual question. In your case, when might be more apt.
Very well, you old snake. If you'd prefer I use my bare hands...
Well, this is completely unexpected. This orb disables our vampire enemies, leaving them helpless and incapacitated. Strangely, it seems to have the same effect on that peculiar weapon of yours. But you must believe me. I mean you no harm.
You can drop the benevolent facade, Mobius. I know who and what you are. I should kill you where you stand.
Perhaps you should, my boy. But you don't.
Are you so certain of that, Mobius?
My role as Time Guardian affords me a certain level of omniscience, Raziel. No, you don't kill me. That honor belongs to your maker, Kain, some 30 years from now.
Ah, you two are a pair. You're just as fatalistic as he is.
Death comes for us all, Raziel. It's just a matter of time.
How is it that you know my name? We have never met.
On the contrary, Raziel, I know you very well. And it grieves me to see how cruelly Kain has used you. I knew you when you were one of the Sarafan Brotherhood, Raziel. We were even close.
Oh, please.
Fortunately, you need not love me now to be my ally.
Are we within the stronghold of the Sarafan priesthood?
Yes, but the glorious days of the Sarafan have long since passed, I'm afraid. This is a more cynical and indecorous age. My mercenary army now inhabits this stronghold. We strive to honor the memory of the Sarafan with our own humble crusade.
Is this the vampire Vorador?
Yes, the scourge of the Circle, the most depraved and decadent example of his whole degenerate race. He slaughtered 6 of my fellow Guardians as they cowered defenseless in this room.
And you somehow survived this massacre?
I and 2 others. The Circle was devastated. Only we 3 were spared.
How convenient. You'll forgive me if I don't naively devour every scrap of information you toss me. You have a reputation for deceit.
And who has slandered me so? Your malefactor, Kain? The one who betrayed and destroyed you? Our common enemy? Consider the source before you judge me too harshly. We'll forget about rekindling our old friendship then. But consider an alliance based on our common ground. We both want Kain dead. I can help you do it.
You don't want to meddle in this, old man. I know all about your sordid little schemes, but you're simply out of your depth on this one.
You underestimate me, Raziel. Let me show you. Even now, Kain is lying in wait for you, unaware that I've snatched you out of the time stream and brought you here to me. See how he lingers at the very pillars he is destined to destroy, foolishly confident that he has eluded your grasp.
The pillars are still standing in this time.
Yes, Raziel. They are the embodiment of the divine force which preserves the life of our world. We who serve the pillars maintain their delicate balance, and Kain is destined to be the fulcrum upon which that balance turns. I believe you have already endured the wasteland wrought by his terrible, selfish decision. Kain's very existence is a cancer upon this world. As long as he lives, all of Nosgoth is in peril. You may never again be human, Raziel. But you can re-embrace the essence of your humanity and the nobility of your Sarafan heritage. Go to him, Raziel, and end this. But first, you will need to find your way out of the stronghold, and in this, I'm afraid I cannot help you. My soldiers will not understand your appearance here. They will try to kill you. You needn't fear them, of course. They're no match for you. Try to keep the casualties to a minimum. But do what you have to do. All great movements require a few martyrs.
Alone now, I surveyed my surroundings and noticed a second time-streaming chamber. Its entrance identical to the first, but with one distinction. That crystal was significant, but how, I had not yet discovered.
Vorador. One of the most ancient vampires in Nosgoth. He came here and he killed, 6 of the Guardians of 9. Don't ask me their names because I don't think we ever learn them. The only 3 that survived was Mortinus, Mobius, and Malik. And they really deified Vorador. I will point out that Vorador does make a bigger appearance, at least up until this point, in Blood Omen. If you notice the ring that's on Kain's ear, that was given to him by Vorador. I won't go into too much detail of later events for Vorador, but yeah, just know that he is a pretty pivotal character. Let's get ourselves a weapon, since we can't use the Soul Reaver just yet. So it pretty much plays the same way. I'm not going absolutely ape crazy. That looks pretty good. I'm not going absolutely ape crazy when it comes to achievements. I'll get them in my own time. As you can see, we have quite a health pool, and we have every ability from Soul Reaver 1, excluding 2 things. The Constrict ability from Duma, and we do not have the Fire Reaver ability anymore. Let's try to get all these hints out of the way. And he dies anyway. I wish it didn't do that stutter pause thing. Now this room's going to be prevalent near the end of the game.
Throughout the stronghold, I discovered evidence of my former nobility and my life as a Sarafan priest. This was the heritage so foully stolen from me when Kain raided my sacred crypt and defiled me.
I think what I might do is, I'm assuming that's because I got the debug menu on. I'm going to turn the sound, the music down 1 each, just to get the voice a little bit higher. And hopefully that doesn't screw anything up. I won't have changed OBS at this point at all. That's one. At least they wait their turn when you're trying to fight them. You can hear Michael Bell there being dubbed as, what's his name? As a random warrior. don't think the souls hung around this long. 1, 2. Don't have to obviously worry about them coming back to life because, well, they don't. Interesting. Oh, by the way, all my glyphs are gone. And souls in the spectral realm now look like skulls. So all my glyphs are gone, all my my fire reaver's gone, but for the most part I have all the other abilities. So I have obviously the shift button, which apparently is also the touchpad.
Away from the influence of Mobius's cursed staff, I could feel the strength of the Soul Reaver slowly returning. If that orb was as debilitating to vampires as it was to the blade, it gave Mobius a powerful advantage over his enemies. I finally understood how Mobius's crusade could decimate the vampires so successfully. If he could immobilize his enemies, they were at his mercy. But why, I wondered, would the staff have any effect on the Reaver?
And of course, as before, you get injured, you lose the ability of the Reaver. That's some nice of you to wait for me. But lovely architecture.
As I neared the stronghold's inner sanctum, a strange sensation crept over me. An indescribable feeling of displacement, a sense of vertigo, as reality itself appeared to warp and bend around me. The disturbance seemed to emanate from the sanctuary's furthest chapel. As I cautiously approached, the sense of dislocation intensified with each step. So this was the tomb of the beloved King William the Just, beatified here as the martyr and catalyst of Mobius's crusade. I was reminded of Kain's journey as a fledgling vampire, how Mobius coerced him to travel back in history and assassinate William, thus igniting a genocidal hatred of vampires among the citizens of Nosgoth. And here I discovered the source of the displacement. The Soul Reaver itself, laid out like a holy relic, and broken, apparently in the battle between William and Kain. I had not thought such a thing was possible. Until, of course, Kain shattered the blade against me when he tried to strike me down. Thus, the captive spirit inhabiting the Reaver was released, and binding itself to me, became my symbiotic weapon. And so the Reaver met its former self, still imprisoned in this corporeal shell. I watched, mesmerized, as the Wraith blade uncoiled itself and snaked down the length of the physical blade. Embracing its twin, its mirror self, the Reaver's long-dormant spirit was now fully aroused. And for the first time, I felt the true presence of this other entity, willful, ravenous, and deranged from thousands of years of imprisonment. The Reaver was now in command, and I, now merely its helpless host, felt my soul being leached to restore the blade. But the Reaver knew better than to destroy its host, and just as I neared the brink of oblivion, the blade released its hold on me. As I recovered, I realized we were now bound together in a fragile alliance. The Reaver no longer merely my symbiotic weapon, but a sentient parasite competing for control.
What have you done to me, Mobius? Is this your trap?
How mine? Don't forget it was Kain who led you here, not I. While you curse me, The only soul in Nosgoth ready to guide and assist you, Kain laughs at our folly and revels in your dismay.
These blades, now coiled in sinister embrace, have inspired terror in the hearts of creatures far more durable than you, old man. Bound together as they are, I can only imagine what they could do to your soul's fragile shell.
Raziel, I beg you to stay your hand. This was none of my doing. I have sought only to aid you in your righteous quest.
Why, you're trembling, Mobius. Has your confidence abandoned you? You seem to have made a fatal error by leaving your precious staff behind. Is that where all your courage comes from?
Listen to me, Raziel. You don't know what you're doing. I have taken an enormous risk by appearing here before you, so defenseless, yet eager to prove my good intentions. If there's anything left of the Seraphim in you, you won't do this. While you threaten me, your true enemy eludes you.
Don't concern yourself with Kain, old man. He'll join you in hell soon enough. As you said, death comes for us all.
Yes, the wheel of fate demands it.
What did you say?
The wheel of fate. The inexorable cycle of death and rebirth to which all men are compelled. We serve the same God, Raziel. To strike me down would be striking God's own attendant. And I don't believe even you would take that risk.
I tire of your games, Mobius. Now that I know you fear me, I needn't concern myself with you. Kain is waiting for me.
Go then, Raziel. Seek Kain out and destroy him in the name of the one God we both serve. You, who were once a Seraphim priest, murdered, profaned, destroyed, and reborn again from his mercy. You are now most powerfully equipped to be his agent, his instrument of restoration and retribution.
My own vengeance is motivation enough.
By my soul, you almost had me, my little blue assassin. But that'll be the one and only chance you get. I assure you of that.
I could now summon the blade at will, regardless of my strength.
Nice.
But once summoned, the blade's ravenous appetite could not be contained. It devoured the souls of its victims, and if I allowed it to become over-aroused, the Reaver would now turn its hunger on me.
Something I never really did much of, so we'll have to see how that goes. Also, a little bit of lore, jumping in there. So, William the Just, playing Blood Omen 1 if I ever get around to it. In the original timeline, he was known as the Nemesis, and he was going to destroy and conquer all of Nosgoth. Long story short, Kain had the Soul Reaver by that point. The army he was fighting with was defeated, and he found a teleporter to go back in time. So Kain, being young and a bit full of himself, came up with the idea of killing William, and thus the Nemesis would never become the Nemesis. He did so, he came back, and instead of the Nemesis being the greatest fear in the land, vampires became the fear. So by this point, Kain's already altered time, which is something that sort of has more of an effect from here on out. Soul Reaver 1 didn't have much of it. So yeah, technically William was destined to die at Kain's hand.
So this was the legendary Janos Ordrin, reputed to have been the most ancient and diabolical vampire to have ever existed. According to folklore, he lived high in the cliffs of Nosgoth's northern mountains and preyed mercilessly on the defenseless villages below. His reign of terror ended when the Seraphim finally hunted him down and tore his throbbing heart from his still-living body. This relic came to be known as the Heart of Darkness, and was supposedly imbued with the power to restore vampiric unlife.
The Sarafan therefore guarded it carefully, lest the heart fall into the hands of their enemies. But I wondered, could Janos Ordren truly have been as monstrous as depicted here? Or was this merely artistic license by the Sarafan, who sought to lionize themselves by demonizing their darkest enemy?
So, before this, the only knowledge we had of Janos Aldrin was from Blood Omen 1, which was basically extra lives. So, thankfully in Soul Reaver 2, they fleshed him out a lot. And not getting into any specific details yet, because he is a long way off. If you're a fan of Deep Space Nine, yeah, you'll pick his voice out. Don't ask me how to pronounce his name at that point, because I can only remember how to pronounce his first name. God help me for the second. So the soul goes straight to the Soul Reaver. I cannot feed off it. I literally have to put the Reaver away.
Strange how my history came full circle. This chapel, I realized, was a memorial to my former Sarafan brethren and myself. All of us martyred here, and then so cruelly profaned by Kain when he imposed his gift on our noble corpses. For the first time, I beheld the image of my Sarafan self, memorialized here among my fallen comrades. It tortured me to see how noble and pure I had been, and what a vile phantasm I had become, and a profound sense of injury, of loss and betrayal welled up in me, so overwhelming I could barely contain it. All I wanted at this moment was to find Kain and destroy him.
I was gonna say I couldn't remember if I had to actually put the Reaver away. I was gonna say you should be able to get back from the corpses. So we have Zephon, who was in the Silent Cathedral, who's now got red hair. So from what I understand from conversations in the community, one of the side effects of becoming a vampire is your hair goes black. Except for Kain, who's went white. Of course we have Raziel. We have Duma, the demon behind him. We have Melchiah, who is our first brother we killed back in the necropolis. Rahab, who's interestingly enough wields a trident and has seahorses. So what's the chance he was into the ocean before his resurrection as vampire? And of course Turel, the one brother we have yet to face. Of course by this point he is dead. Alright, where are we going? This way I think. I can't remember if you can block. I don't think you can throw. I think I'm going the right way. Nope, I've gone backwards. That was clever. know there was a gate that opened upstairs. I just couldn't remember how to get up there. Alright, you got, apparently you two. Oh. Apparently you didn't want to lock on. Oh. Is there two of you or just one? No, there's two. No, there is no toss this time. Oh. Come on, Rosie, you can do better than that. Although I probably should be blocking a bit. Ouch. Ah, come on. I'm atrocious. God. That's why I'm better with swords than these spears. Spears, axes, whatever you want to call them. And so it should be, there it is. I walked right past it. Now there's no orbs to collect, there's no portions of health to collect. None of that. Oh, you can throw it.
I emerged, and for the first time beheld Nosgoth in its former glory. The land overflowed with abundant life and vitality, and I knew with certainty then that the world I had left behind was nothing more than the corpse of Nosgoth, a lifeless husk bled dry by the corruption of Kain's parasitic empire. This was the fragile world Kain sacrificed to preserve his own petty life and ambition, heedless of the profound cost. The sight only deepened my resolve. I sensed that the pillars lay to the northwest. If Kain truly waited to confront me there, I would not disappoint him.
Actually, this had save points, didn't it? Now that I think of it. Nice little stone architecture, which if I remember correctly, has no bearing whatsoever. It's just underwater. Actually, no, because they had save points, but then unless maybe that's where the debug menu is going a bit wonky on me. I can't remember where the hell to jump up. Yep, I'm in the wrong spot. It should be over there. Yes, we had that door with the big symbol above it, but right now we don't have any use for it whatsoever.
As I passed this arcane
there it
landmark,
is.
a wisp of the Reaver's energy was drawn into the ring, illuminating it. This created a beacon of sorts in the spirit world. If ever I found myself depleted in the spectral realm, and my soul tossed on the ethereal winds, these beacons would draw me back to safety and restore me.
Yep, we got checkpoints. Now, I can't remember if there's actually something in there I need. I do know eventually I do come back in here, but I don't think there's anything actually necessity in here. Alright, maybe there is. That's how we get out of here. Yeah, so we basically have checkpoints. That's what I was thinking of.
These ancient obelisks were mysteriously attuned to my spiritual essence. By simply touching the symbol, I could safely preserve an imprint of my soul, and thus create a milestone to which I could return when weary, and from which I could resume my journey.
In other words, there's our save point. Which are very reminiscent of the save points from Blood Omen. So there we go. So we will leave this here. So I hope some of you actually enjoy this first episode. I got a few views from the first series, but I guess we'll wait and see what happens. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring the bell, leave me a comment. I do check my analytics, and a lot of you are subscribed, so make sure you do that. But apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.